If you enjoyed this documentary, please like and subscribe for more historical stories. The twilight of crowns, the fall of India's princely states. The summer of 1947 burned hotter than usual across India. As the British packed their offices in Delhi, a quiet panic spread through the palaces of the subcontinent. For the Maharajas, Nawabs and Rajas who had ruled their kingdoms under the umbrella of British paramountcy, the coming dawn of independence was not a celebration. It was an existential crisis. In the marble halls of Hyderabad, the Nizam, one of the richest men in the world, pored over maps with his advisors. His state, larger than many European nations, had its own army, its own currency, even its own railway. Why should he bow to Delhi? 1,000 miles away in the humid corridors of Junagad's palace, the Nawabs signed a letter of accession to Pakistan, a decision so absurd it bordered on farce. His state, nestled on the coast of Gujarat, shared no border with Pakistan. But logic had little place in those fevered days, and in the icy valleys of Kashmir, Maharaja Hari Singh hesitated. His Muslim-majority kingdom, perched between two newborn nations, could tip the balance of power in South Asia. But indecision, as he would soon learn, was a luxury kings could no longer afford. For centuries, these rulers had survived by bending to stronger powers: Mughals, Marathas, and finally the British. Now, with the British gone, they faced a new force, the relentless machinery of a nation determined to unite. The story of India's princely states was never one of true sovereignty. It was a story of survival. When the British East India Company began its conquest of India in the 18th century, it found a land fractured into hundreds of kingdoms. Some, like Mysore under Tipu Sultan, resisted fiercely. Others, like the Rajputs of Rajasthan, made alliances. But by the 19th century, the British had a firm grip, directly ruling most of India while leaving the princes as figureheads in their own courts. The revolt of 1857 changed everything. After the bloody uprising, the British Crown took control from the company and realized a hard truth. Ruling India outright was expensive and dangerous. Better to let the princes handle their own people so long as they remained loyal. Thus began the era of indirect rule. The British took charge of foreign policy, defense and communications, but inside their palaces, the Maharajas still held court, still collected taxes, still lived in unimaginable luxury. Some, like the Gaikwads of Baroda, used their wealth to build schools and hospitals. Others, like the Nawabs of Awadh, squandered fortunes on champagne and European vacations. But beneath the glittering surface, the princes knew their power was borrowed. The British could depose them at will, and sometimes did. The infamous doctrine of lapse allowed the East India Company to annex any kingdom where the ruler died without a male heir. Princely states like Satara, Nagpur and Jhansi were swallowed this way, their royal families reduced to pensioners. By 1947, the system was a relic. The British were leaving and the princes faced a brutal calculus: adapt or perish. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was not a man who believed in half measures. As India's first deputy prime minister and home minister, he saw the princely states for what they were: a ticking time bomb. If even one state refuses to join India, he warned Nehru, it will be a cancer in the body of the nation. His strategy was simple: persuasion first, force if necessary. One by one, the princes were summoned to Delhi. Some came willingly, like the Maharaja of Bikaner, who saw the winds of change. Others had to be convinced. Patel's offer was generous. Keep your titles, your palaces, your privy purses, generous annual payments from the Indian government. In return, surrender your sovereignty. For most, it was an easy choice. The age of kings was ending and the smart ones knew it, but not all were so pragmatic. The Nawab of Junagad was a man of peculiar tastes. He owned hundreds of dogs, each with its own servant. His decision to accede to Pakistan in August 1947 was equally eccentric. Junagad was a small coastal state with a Hindu majority population. Pakistan, hundreds of miles away, had no way to defend it. India responded with an economic blockade, cutting off food and fuel. Within weeks, the Nawab's administration collapsed. He fled to Karachi with his favorite dogs, leaving behind a kingdom in chaos. A plebiscite was held. 99% voted to join India, The episode was less a tragedy than a dark comedy, a lesson in how quickly power evaporates when reality sets in. The Nizam of Hyderabad was different. His kingdom was vast, wealthy, and strategically crucial. He had his own army, his own airline, even his own foreign ministry. For over a year he resisted, dreaming of independence. But Hyderabad was a tinderbox. The Nizam's rule was propped up by the Razakars, a fanatical militia that terrorized the Hindu majority. Reports of massacres trickled into Delhi. Patel waited, negotiating even as he prepared for war. On September 13, 1948, the Indian Army launched Operation Polo. The fighting lasted 5 days. Hyderabad fell. The Nizam, once the richest man in the world, surrendered on national radio. His dream of independence died with a whimper. Kashmir was always the tragedy. Maharaja Hari Singh, a Hindu ruling a Muslim-majority state, hoped to stay independent. But in October 1947, Pakistani-backed tribesmen invaded, pillaging their way towards Srinagar. In desperation, Singh signed the Instrument of Accession to India. Indian troops airlifted into Srinagar just in time to save the city. The war that followed ended in a ceasefire and a divided Kashmir. 75 years later, the conflict still simmers. The Maharaja's indecision had consequences no one could undo. By 1971, the princes were ghosts. Their privy purses, once generous, were a drain on a modernizing India. Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, never one for sentiment, abolished them with the 26th constitutional amendment. The last holdout was Sikkim, a Himalayan kingdom that had remained a protectorate. In 1975, a referendum ended its monarchy. The Chogyal king protested, but the people had spoken. Sikkim became India's 22nd state. The age of kings had ended. In its place rose the world's largest democracy, united not by royal decree, but by the will of its people. The princes had bent to many powers throughout history. In the end, they bent to the greatest power of all, the voice of a free nation. As the curtains fall on the saga of India's princely states, a new chapter begins. One shaped not by royal lineage, but by the collective dreams of 1 billion people. The echoes of crowns and kingdoms may linger, but today India's story is written by its citizens. If you found this journey through history inspiring, don't forget to show your support. Click like and subscribe to join us for more untold stories and epic moments from the past. Thank you for watching. Together, let's keep exploring the moments that shape our world.